Once upon a time, in a peaceful little village surrounded by tall green mountains, there lived a 24-year-old young man named Marco. From the outside, Marco seemed like an ordinary young man, but inside his heart, he carried a storm. His mind was never still. Thoughts kept coming and going all day long, memories of the past that made him sad, worries about the future that made him anxious. Because of this, Marco rarely slept well. He often lay awake at night, turning from side to side, his mind filled with endless questions. He had even forgotten how to smile. People in the village saw him walking with his head down, and they whispered to each other, "That young man looks so restless. It is as if he is carrying a heavy weight no one can see." One day, Marco heard a rumor. People spoke about a wise old man who lived far away in a quiet mountain village. Long ago, this man had been a famous psychologist in the city. He had spent his life helping people understand their minds, showing them how to heal, and teaching them how to live in peace. But when he grew old, he left the noise of the city behind and moved to the hills, where he lived close to nature. Sometimes visitors would come to him for advice, and he would guide them with his gentle words. When Marco heard this, his heart filled with a little hope. "Maybe this old man can help me," he thought. And so, without waiting, Marco packed a small bag and began his journey. The road was long and difficult. He walked through forests where the trees blocked the sunlight. He crossed rivers where the cold water touched his feet. Days turned into nights, and still he walked, tired but determined. Finally, after many days, he reached the quiet village hidden in the hills. At the edge of the village, Marco saw a small wooden house covered in vines and flowers. Birds were singing nearby, and the air was fresh. On the porch of the house sat the old man, his eyes closed, breathing slowly, as if he was one with the silence around him. His face carried no worry, no tension, only peace. Marco approached carefully and spoke softly. "Grandfather, my mind is restless. I cannot control my thoughts. I feel lost and tired. Please, can you help me find peace?" The old man slowly opened his eyes. He looked at Marco with kindness and gave a calm smile. "So you are searching for peace," he said gently. "Then I will give you a small task." He led Marco to the garden outside his house. There, he took a glass and filled it completely with water right to the top. The glass was so full that even the smallest movement could make the water spill. He handed the glass to Marco and said, "Take this glass, walk from here to the far edge of the village, and then return. But remember, not even a single drop of water must be spilled." Marco was surprised, but he respected the old man's words. He took the glass carefully in his hands and began walking. The road was narrow and crowded. Children were playing on the sides, merchants were calling customers, dogs barked loudly, and villagers walked quickly past him. But Marco's eyes never left the glass. Step by step, he walked carefully, focusing only on keeping the water safe. Finally, after what felt like a long time, Marco returned to the old man's house. His face was tired, but he was proud. He held up the glass and said, "Grandfather, I did it. I didn't spill even one drop." The old man nodded with a smile. "That is good," he said. "But tell me, Marco, did you see the children playing on the road? Did you hear the dogs barking? Did you notice the shopkeepers calling out?" Marco looked confused. "No, Grandfather. I did not see or hear anything. I was only looking at the glass of water." The old man's smile grew warmer. He placed his hand gently on Marco's shoulder and said, "That is the lesson. When your mind stays fixed on the present moment, there is no room for fear, no space for confusion, no heavy weight from the past or future. When you walked with the glass, your mind was only here, only now. That is why it became quiet. That is the true secret of peace Marco finally understood. Tears filled his eyes as he whispered, "So peace was always inside me. I just never knew how to find it." If I want to calm my mind, I must stay in the present moment. The old man closed his eyes again, smiling gently. The sun was setting, painting the sky with orange light. Birds flew back to their nests, and the air grew soft and calm. Marco bowed his head with gratitude and began walking home. But this time, he was no longer the same restless young man. His steps were lighter, his heart was calmer, and his mind had learned a powerful truth. Peace is not found outside. It is discovered within. And so, Marco returned to his village, ready to live his life with a new wisdom. If you enjoyed this story, please give it a like and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more inspiring stories that bring peace, hope, and lessons for life. Thank you for listening, and until we meet again, stay happy, stay calm, and stay peaceful.